What's up, everybody? How you doing today? We only got a couple hours left in the month of July, so it's perfect time to do a little garden tour and check up on our progress and show you around to see some of the stuff that we got in the garden here.
Yeah. Hey, what's your favorite thing in the garden? What's
Oh,
what's your favorite part of the garden?
That, that, and that,
What is it?
and that,
What? What is it?
that, and that, and that.
What are you pointing at? What is the word?
What?
Broccoli. You like broccoli the best?
Yeah.
Was this our first year growing broccoli?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was nummy, huh?
Oh,
Okay, what else do you like?
this.
You haven't even eaten that yet. Do you know what it is?
Yeah.
What is it?
Catchy.
That's right, it is cabbage.
So all this over here is our main vegetable growing area. It's lined on the north side with sunflowers and other more pollinator-based flowers. Stuff to bring bees into the yard and into the garden, just to get them on the squash plants, because we had trouble in the past with our squash plants not setting fruit. So we started putting more flowers in, and anytime we want to put something in that's not really going to produce much food, we just put it on the north side. That is the south side over there. And this area gets almost full sun. It does get shaded in the afternoon by our house, but our house isn't very tall, so it doesn't really lose too much of the daylight to the house. This bee balm is crazy. It gets these giant bees. This is the first year we've had them here, and they're bigger than anything else we've ever seen in Canada for bees. They really are monsters. When they land on the flowers just start rocking and rolling, but they don't care because they're in it to win it. This is one of our main tomato beds over here. We're starting to get some production out of it. There's definitely some red ones in there, and we have been snacking here and there, although we won't admit it because, we're supposed to be letting them get super red before we pick them, but I know everybody kind of snacks when they see one and doesn't tell anyone. This is just one of our beds of tomatoes. The greenhouse has a lot of tomato production as well, but we'll get to that in a little bit. This was where we had our garlic planted over the winter last year. We've obviously pulled that out now, and we got some more rounds of some kales and some beets. We always need lots of beets because they're my favorite. Beets are one of those vegetables that actually I feel fills you up. So, sometimes it's like tomatoes, you feel like you can just eat tons and tons of them, or, some fruits you just eat them forever, but beets actually make you feel full, so they're pretty valuable around here, and they store pretty well. So we've got lots of plantings of them. We try to always keep some coming up and ready to pick. This area was a borage patch earlier with the sunflowers, and it also had peas, and then the peas got a mildew on them, so we pulled them up, and we've planted in some winter boar kale, which is a really, really good plant for us in our climate here. It survives the winter, and it'll survive the snow as good as any kale that we've ever seen. And by the time the spring hits, it is producing like crazy and growing like tons. So it's really a good plant to get something to eat really early in the season. That grows really well and is very hardy. Behind that, we've got some more squash plants. And then we get into a little lettuce bed that we had. And there's some beets in there too. This is our shadiest bed because it's the closest to the house. So we like to grow some of our lettuces and stuff in here because we have such hot days in the Okanagan summer that it's really hard to grow lettuce without it just bolting right away. Off to the side we have some fruit trees. This is a pear tree, and already past the apple tree. There's a few varieties grafted on each. They definitely need to prune this this fall, but at this point in time we're letting them grow just to see what they do. You can look across back towards the greenhouse. There's our big beet bed. beans, cabbage, broccoli, more in the foreground there. Zucchinis and patty pans off to the right. Here we have a big field of borage. The borage started with just one plant, and it's seeded itself quite well across the garden. It's nice, so we've been encouraging it to grow, but we do have our limits, and pretty soon it's going to start getting pulled out in pretty large numbers because we need that space for other stuff to plant for the fall. Right now, though, the bees are all over it, and anything that the bees love, we try to leave around for them because, you know, they're struggling these days, so might as well give them a helping hand. Bed is another hodgepodge of different stuff. Squash, beans, cosmo flowers, dill, marigolds, and then our red onions and our sweet onions are planted in here. Even a couple volunteer tomato plants scattered all around. This is our shade garden. Nothing really grows here too much because it does get shade for most of the day. The sun kind of falls right on this pathway here. That's why we put the path where we did, because you know none of this is full sun anyways. So it's not really. We're not going to have any luck growing any productive vegetables with it. But we have decided that we're going to line it with some fruit trees over the years and keep them very pruned so that they don't start shading out our vegetable garden too much. But I figure there is some sunlight that they can soak up without really changing the garden too much. And then we have the benefits of all that fruit. So nasturtiums, Serena loves nasturtium seeds. She kind of turns them into like a caper substitute, and they're pretty good. So it's all kind of nasturtiums and squash plants planted along the edges here. This is obviously the backside of the tomato bed. In the middle of the tomatoes is radishes. We're letting those radishes go to seed for the seed pods themselves. We like the seed pods so much that we don't even think we're going to eat radish bulbs anymore. Just radish seed pods. They're so good. This right here is some of our seed onion for our walking onions. This is a spot that's been growing for a bunch of years now, and we just kind of let it do its own thing and then come in here and harvest the seeds every now and then. It's looking like it's just about ready for it. We already did the one in the front the other day, so pretty much at any time we're going to pull this out too. Our rhubarb plant here is a beast. We get almost 100 pounds of rhubarb off of it a year. We even let it go to seed, and nothing will slow it down. Serena is very good about getting in there in the middle and thinning it out and really trying to keep it under control, because otherwise it can die out in the middle and turn into more of like a donut than like a big mound of rhubarb. We don't really want that, so we are aggressive about harvesting it. Here we have some dill. It grows wild in our yard. There's a reason why they call it dill weed, because it is a weed, and we try to keep some, although I usually pull them out and Serena yells at me for it, but we find this happy median where there's always dill, but you know, not too much. Behind that is some beans, and these are just flowers. I don't recall what all the flowers are called, and I don't recall what those ones are called, but they are very nice. And over there is an area that you can't really go into right now. It is morning glory and squash like crazy. We have a little bit of amaranth. Amaranth kind of self-seeds in our yard as well from a few years ago where we planted. That's the red one there. And obviously sunflowers everywhere. We left those ones in there to give the squash and the morning glory something to climb. The morning glory, they are quite invasive. It's crazy how much they seed around the yard. And they're pretty, so we let them do their thing in places. So that's a tour of our vegetable garden area. We'll come back another day and show you the rest of the yard. Just wanted to do a quick run through of our main production area and all the different stuff we have growing in there. So thanks for watching. subscribe and join our journey. We're going to be doing lots of cool projects around the yard in the next year, and we'd love it if you joined us on this journey of ours and left some comments and asked some questions.
What do you got there, Leah?
A berry.
A berry? What kind of berry?
Pizza?
Do you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't see. Show me. You gotta open your hand. Gooseberries.
Berry.
Nummy. Do they
Super
taste
yummy.
good?
Yeah.
Nummy, nummy.